Hi guys, you guys need to pause the video and complete this warm-up. Once you've completed the video, or once you've completed your warm-up, the video will continue to play and I will give you the answers. So pause the video and then complete your warm-up. Okay, welcome back. For the first one, you should have had 350 divided by 5 and 1/4. And then this would end up being 350 divided by 21 over 4. And then you copy dot flip. So you'd have 350 times 4 over 21. And you should have came up with 66.67 miles per hour. The second one, you should have had 5 and 2/3 divided by 2. And so you would have came up with 17 divided by 3 times a half, and you would have came up with 2 and 5/6 gallons per hour. Okay, today you will be taking a quiz, so you need to pause the video and you will be handed out the quiz. And then after you complete your quiz, you'll continue on with this lesson. The quiz shouldn't take very long since it's only over unit rates, rates, and complex fractions. And it's very short and very quick. So complete the quiz, turn that in, and then continue on with the video. In your notes, you need to make sure that you have this objective, that you're identifying proportional and non-proportional relationships in tables and graphs, and you're describing proportional relationships using an equation. This is a really foundational skill when you get into 8th grade. So what we are doing, you need to make sure you take really good notes on, because it will be an expectation that you're prepared for it next year when you enter into that pre-algebra class. So pause the video if you need a little extra time writing down the objective, and then move forward. You also need these vocabulary words. You need proportional, constant of proportionality, and non-proportional. You need all three. So if it is proportional, it just means that they have the same rate. So when we were comparing last time, we were finding the higher unit rate. If they ended up being the same, that means they're proportional. That ratio then becomes it's the constant rate of proportionality. So it's not changing and it's going to happen every time. And then if it's not proportional, then they don't have anything the same. The rates aren't the same and the ratios aren't the same. So make sure you have these three vocabulary words in your notes. If you have any questions during any time of the video, please make sure you star it next to your in your notes so we can cover it when I get back. Okay, for the first one, it says determine whether the cost of coffee is proportional to the number of pounds. If the relationship is proportional, identify the constant of proportionality and explain your reasoning. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You're going to want to know in the beginning that it's always going to be y over x, because that's also going to be our slope. So the constant of proportionality and our slope are going to end up being the same thing. So if you understand this, the graphing part will become really easy. So this first column becomes my x and this next column becomes my y. So I'm going to compare my x's over my y's. So the first one I have is 3 over 1, which 3 divided by 1 is 3. Okay, the next one I have is 6 over 2. When I reduce that, it ends up being 3 over 1. So they're equal. The next one is 9 over 3, which when I reduce that ends up being 3. So far these are all the same. And then when I reduce 12 over 4, that ends up being 3 as well. So yes, they are proportional, so you have to write that. Yes, they are proportional. And then you have to state the constant of proportionality. So my constant of proportionality, so constant rate is equal to 3 over 1, or just 3 in this case. Most of the time it will be a fraction. So you need to make sure that you're writing all of this down, because this is explaining it and to the depth that you need to explain it in. Okay? Anytime the video is going too quick, please feel free to raise your hand and ask the sub to pause it, so that way you can make sure that you have everything written down into your notes and that you're staying on pace as well. Okay? So the next one, determine whether the cost of baseballs is proportional to the number of baseballs. If the relationship is proportional, identify the constant rate of proportionality. So I know I'm comparing y over x. So when I look at that, the first one I have 2 over 1, which reduces to 2. The next one I have 3 over 2, which does not reduce to 2, so they are not equal. 4 over 3 is also not equal, and 5 over 4 is also not equal. So all I have to write for this one is that it's not proportional. There is no constant of proportionality because nothing is the same. I'm not multiplying any of them by the same ratio, so none of these have the same unit rate. Okay? The next one I would like you to try on your own. So pause the video, and then I will give you the answer when you come back. Okay, welcome back. So if I can compare my y over my x, it's equal to 50 over 1, 70 over 2, which when I reduce equals 35 over 1. So these are not equal, so I don't even care about the 90 over 3. So I'm just going to put that they're not proportional. So you should have had not proportional. On this one's a little different. So those of you that have had extensions, you know a little bit about circles. Those of you that are in extensions this quarter, you just learned about circles. So we are going to be using those formulas, which I tell you guys all the time, formulas can help with anything. So we are going to be using what we learned in extensions to tie into this class. So a circle's circumference is proportional to its diameter. Use the figure to find the constant of proportionality, then write an equation relating to circumference of the circle to its diameter. What is the circumference of a circle with a 6-inch diameter? So there's a lot of things that we have to do in this. So the first thing we have to do is we are looking for the constant rate of proportionality from a circle's circumference to its diameter. So I'm going to take my circumference divided by my diameter to see what that constant rate of proportionality is. So 12.56 divided by 4. When I get that, you get the number 3.14 roughly, or pi, which is exactly what we were looking for. Okay? So pi, anytime I multiply the diameter by pi, I'm going to get the circumference. So it makes sense that if I take the circumference divided by the diameter, I should end up with pi. Okay? So my constant rate of proportionality is 3.14. And then to write an equation, any circumference that I work with is going to be 3.14 times the diameter. Okay, so that's good enough for an equation. The next thing I have to do is answer the last question. What is the circumference of a circle with a 6-inch diameter? So then I'm going to substitute in for my diameter. So C is equal to 3.14 times 6. Okay, when you put this into your calculator, you should get 18.84 meters. So your new circumference for a diameter with 6 inches would be 18.84 meters. So there's a lot of different things that are being asked in this question. So there's a lot of different steps that you have to do in order to make sure that this is going to go smoothly. Okay? Pause the video and you guys need to do this one on your own, and then we will go over it. Okay? Welcome back. Okay, so Nina charges $34.50 for 6 days of pet sitting. Find the constant of proportionality, then write an equation relating to the cost of pet sitting to the number of days. What would the cost of pet sitting be for 4 days? So there's 3 different things you had to do. So first you had to do $34.50 divided by 6, and you would have found that she charges $5.75 per day. Okay, then I have to write an equation. So the cost is equal to $5.75 per every day that she does it. If you use different variables, that's fine, as long as you can state what they mean and what they represent. So the cost for 6 days is, or the cost for 4 days, I apologize, is going to be $23. Okay, so $23 for 4 days. So there's a lot of questions, but you need to make sure you're answering them all. Otherwise, you won't get all of the correct work. Okay? The next thing you need to do is you need to do these 3 problems on a green exit ticket. Make sure your name is on it and turn it in so I don't throw it away. And then your homework tonight is going to be page 208 and 209 evens. As soon as you're done with the exit ticket, you can ask for the piece of paper for the homework since you guys don't take your books home. So again, if you have any questions, please make sure you star them in your notes, and continue to do this all week since I won't be here. And then next week we will go over the quiz, reteach if we need to, and then continue to move forward. So have a fabulous day, and your homework is due the next time.